Humiliated gay conservative pleads guilty to homophobic death threats against Congressman. A Pennsylvania man has pled guilty to making death threats to Representative Eric Swalwell and members of his staff. Joshua Hall, 22, pled guilty to one count of making interstate communications with a threat to injure and faces a maximum sentence of 5 years in prison. He had previously pled guilty to charges of wire fraud in relation to a fake fundraising organization. Gay Voices for Trump. Hall admitted to impersonating Trump family members on social media, including the former president's son Barron and late brother Robert, in an effort to defraud donors. In late August, Swalwell revealed that he and his staff had been the targets of threatening phone calls from someone claiming to be a gay conservative. Swalwell tweeted at the time, quote, "A staffer of mine who's 1 month into her job received a call from a man saying he's coming to our office with an assault rifle to kill me," end quote. According to the memo shared by Swalwell, the caller ranted about gay issues and, quote, said he is a gay man, but he doesn't take it up the ass, he gives it, end quote. The man used the F slur several times to describe other gay men. Swalwell has warned about the attacks on the gay community in the past, saying, quote, "I hesitate to share this, but how else do I tell you we are in violent times and the architects are Trump and McCarthy. Bloodshed is coming," end quote. I happened to see him interviewed last night on Joy Reid on MSNBC. He talked about being out with his family, trick-or-treating, and just talking about the risks that they face as people in Congress and their families face who are not, traveled around, have less security, and it's scary times we live in. I mean,
Jeff, I have to ask you, related to that, of course, we're following the Pelosi story, which is just shockingly horrifying. The story that we're watching. So you're the national chairman for the National Task Force dinner. You're in advocacy just by its very nature of advocating, because you're volunteering and supporting your efforts for the National Task Force, which is a political organization. Did it ever cross your mind in this last year of what you've done with the task force, or the last number of years with organizations like My Hollywood Pride, do you ever think about your safety as it relates to how you're advocating in community?
We did a voter equality march to the polls on Saturday with the Hollywood Council, fortunately, the police have been very supportive of the work we do with Hollywood Pride, and Hollywood police have been overwhelmingly supportive. But we had a police escort of 3 SUVs from the Hollywood police as we marched down what we would call a very tame downtown area in Hollywood. And as it was happening, I looked around and I said, I feel better that we have this escort, because I thought about people driving through crowds with cars. I thought about people coming out with guns. I definitely thought about it. And we had done this 2 years ago during the pandemic, and we had Debbie Wasserman Schultz there, and we had less security at the time. So it was very interesting. We got the police involved, of course, that we were doing a march. So it was good to have them there, but it definitely crossed my mind.
Yeah, it just shows how things have ramped up. I mean, just worse and worse.
Well, and there's so many jokes to be made about this story. This man who threatens them, but it's not funny anymore because of the Pelosi attack and political violence. I was hoping, and it didn't come to pass, but I was hoping that the January 6th would be a watershed moment in a different sort of way. But it appears that we have crossed the Rubicon, and we're just not going to be going back from it. Because this attack on Pelosi, you've got Trump's oldest son joking about it. You've got other Republican luminaries that are out there making jokes about it. If someone even bought a hammer at a hardware store down the street from Donald Trump, conservatives would be going crazy. These are violent times, and the sad thing is they're only going to get more violent.
Yeah, it's his quote about as a warning for LGBTQ community. This congressman is not gay. Is not it does not identify family, children. Does not identify in the LGBTQ community. It is chilling to me that he is willing to so clearly say bloodshed is coming, not I fear that. He doesn't he doesn't couch it in the what if. He says it as a declarative statement. That's what's so ominous in this.
And I just want to add the perpetrator, this guy. We are looking at essentially a very prototypical example of someone who has so much self-loathing that he is working against your civil rights. I mean, if this guy is 50 years old and has a law degree, that's Roy Cohn.
Right.
And it's also funny to me as I think about this, whatever the acronym of the whatever gay of whatever of Trump. We followed Strzok closely and #walkaway and the gays for Trump. And the ridiculousness of the many, many things that we saw in these organizations. I have repeatedly said for conservatives in the LGBTQ community that their voice should be heard and they should have a seat at the table to be able to discuss the issues. But at some point you have to say their desire is not to sit at the table and discuss the issues. Their desire is the overthrow of the democratic process of the United States of America.
Right, to be contrarian.
Yeah, to be contrarian, to do that. And so this guy is nothing more than a criminal. That's the end result of what this gay for Trump was. And the second thing that I would say is I have a friend that made it very clear to me of something that intuitively did not make sense to me, but today completely does. And the observation is, Al, you know that there are roaches for raid. And that is a really great statement of helping us understand the illustration of what this congressman is telling us in terms of bloodshed is coming. There are some people that are what they are, and we should believe their words because their words are dangerous. And one of them broke into Speaker Pelosi's house over the weekend in San Francisco. We should believe them when they have zip ties and they have a hammer and they ask, "Where's Nancy?"
And they've turned the narrative about that attack and brought LGBTQ people into the room and created a completely false narrative that then puts another target on our back around a storyline that had nothing to do with our community.
Years old, by the way.
Right.
He's like 82 years old and he's in his underwear at 2
Because
o'clock
he was
in the
sleeping,
morning.
yeah.
but as octogenarians go, he's pretty sexy.
John. But
Okay, all right.
yeah, the thing is, and now with Twitter being under Elon Musk, that risk is even greater. The first thing that Elon Musk tweeted about the Pelosi's was exactly the same conspiracy theories. He doesn't bother to fact check. He suspended content moderation. Twitter is becoming a cesspool.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Lara are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.